Hey folks, this is Bardic Dragoon. Welcome back to Let's Play Parasite Eve. When we last left off, we had trudged through the sewers in an evening gown and unfortunately let Eve escape due to her sicking a giant mutant crocodile on us. And, well, mostly we had a lot of questions left unanswered. Of course, it's the beginning of a horror mystery story, so what are we expecting? But with that out of the way, it's time to move on to a new day. December 25th, 1997, Christmas Day, or as the game prefers to refer to it, Fusion. Trying to decide if I want to make a Dragon Ball Z joke or a Steven Universe joke here. Of course, by saying that, I've killed the joke anyway, so let's just get going on this. Admittedly, she did have a rough night, huh? But there is that. No relatives, no friends, and she was always sick and on medication. Yeah, I got the last one from reading her diary. I mean, if you read the diary, it's kind of obvious. She's always talking about, I need to take more meds. I need to take more meds. Things aren't going right. I should take more meds. I don't even understand it. Let's see. Of course it did, because everything about this case just burst into flames except Aya, apparently. So, or is it Aya? You know, maybe if I'd played Third Birthday, I'd probably have a better idea of that, but quite frankly, I don't care. I don't know, people... Is spontaneous combustion people just bursting into flames randomly, or is it actually, like, people exploding? It's not something I've ever really looked into or cared all that much about, but I don't know. ESP, okay, that works, I guess. A whole audience of people just spontaneously burst into flames and there were mutant animals wandering around in the place. How is ESP that hard to believe, dude? Seriously? Yeah, there's that. Yeah. Bigger guns. I don't know how that helps fight ESP, but, you know, bigger guns are never a bad idea when you're going into a fight. After all, he who has the biggest gun wins. Ah, mod permits. Awesome. Yeah. So, I suppose we'll take a few moments here of quiet time that we have to kind of take a look here and discuss some of the mechanics of the game. I mean, I already mentioned, well, I think it might have gotten garbled for some reason in recording, so it's worth mentioning again, but bonus points. Not that we're going to be using them a lot, at least not this early on. As we get farther into the game, they'll play more of a role, but the bonus points are basically just, well, they're points that you use to level stuff up. Okay, come on. And okay, I think it was. There we go. I think. Yeah, and I think those are the only two that you can investigate. And let's wander around the men's locker room. Hi. Hello. Anyway, moving on. But yeah, like I said, we'll take some time to talk about mechanics here for a bit. But actually, before we do that, before we continue on, that's right. I think the Kevlar vest we ended up getting that when we killed the crocodile. I haven't had a chance, but yeah, that's why I didn't equip it. And yeah, there's nothing down that way yet. So we'll go straight to where we should be going. I mean, it's a horror game, I guess it makes sense, but gotta love the Dutch angles. I think that's what that's called, the Dutch angle? That sounds about right. I don't know. Okay, well, this is the weapons department. And we're gonna take some time here, not talking to the guy that we're supposed to. Nope, we don't want to exchange items, because we just got a great thing. We just got a tool. Now, what is a tool? Well, it's probably one of the most important things in this game, as this game is very much an equipment-based game. I should reload my gun. There we go. And the tool basically allows you to upgrade... No, wait. Okay. How do I use a tool from the regular menu? That's not what I wanted. Okay. The heck? Okay. Well, this is embarrassing. We'll talk about tools in a moment. Because I know we'll have an opportunity to use them here in just a moment. Actually, I think maybe... Yeah, that's right. It won't let us use it yet. Okay. Let's talk to this guy then. This is Wayne. He is in fact not in charge of the weapons department, spoiler alert. Of course, well then again, I suppose, that could still be the guy in charge who's hitting on Aya. I mean, can you blame him? Anyway, yeah. Who's actually in charge is Torres. Wayne likes really big guns, really powerful guns, arguably more than you'd need for normal police work. This job, on the other hand, could you hand that rocket launcher over, please? And there's the real guy in charge, Torres. An older, balding, well, at least he got the kind of receding hairline thing. I don't know if balding is quite the right word. But older guy with a receding hairline and a ponytail who has some very strong opinions about guns and gun control. And his assistant, Wayne, who has less interest in guns and gun control, to say the least. I don't know. This criminal seems to be relying on telekinetic powers to set people on fire, so I think your vicious cycle theory here might be a little, full of holes right now. Okay. Okay, so let's leave some items. We don't need that anymore. We don't need these keys anymore, so we'll just throw them into storage. The rest of it, though, we do want to keep. And the guns we'll want to keep, at least for the moment, once the game lets us use tools. That way I can show you why tools are useful. An M16A1. This is the first time we get to see a new weapon type, a assault rifle. Well, they call them rifles, but they're really more of assault rifles. And the mod permit, which we're going to use to mod our handgun here. Because what the mod permit does is it basically allows you to open a weapon slot, or a customization slot, which is where you can add extra properties to guns. Every weapon has a maximum level that it can be raised to as far as those slots. Wari's words. Don't let the guns own you. I think it could apply to many more things, but anyway. Yeah, you could show us, but I already know most of them. I already actually have a plan where I'm going weapon-wise, so we'll just ignore your little tutorial. Not that it's much of one. 2 paragraphs of text that barely explains... I guess it explains the basics that you need to know, and the rest of it is kind of intuitive once you know that, I guess, but yeah, whatever. Okay, for the moment being... there we go. New menu option. Tune up. So, what does tune up allow you to do? Well, basically you can select I mean, there are certain limitations, mostly with the club and the rocket launch. Well, when we get to them rocket launches, but we won't see that for a long while, so it's barely worth talking about. But you can basically take the properties from one piece of equipment and transfer them to another one. For example, let's see. Let's get some good properties on it. As that. That also could be useful. And basically what you do is, for every tool you have, as well as you notice there's a category for super, that's a super tool. It's a whole different, well, a slightly different thing. A lot more useful, but a lot more rare, of course. You know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and... And then you can basically select a property. You can choose extra properties from down here, or you can choose the plus categories for the stats. In this case, I'm carrying over the plus categories to give me a slight boost to defense, a slight boost to parasite energy regeneration, and I think that's critical resistance, so don't quote me on that. I need to reread on what the different stats are. But with that done, let's take the bullets we aren't going to be, or take the bullets out of the gun we're not going to be using here, and for the moment being at least, temporarily rearrange our inventory, which leaves us with a lot more room in our inventory, and we've got, yeah, 8 items here. Let's drop off some stuff with you. Throw some equipment, and let's see. There we go. One great thing about this is, so you can't, even if you don't have a tool, you can use it to view the items, as otherwise you can't view item attributes in the putting stuff into storage. Let's see, that has some attributes for transferring. That does that. That does that. That invest isn't really worth keeping around. Actually, neither is. Okay. So let's go ahead. Because, of course, as you find tools, rather than hoarding them and stockpiling them till you reach a certain point, it's usually better to use them when you have them, kind of thing. So it's good to keep a couple of good pieces of equipment in your inventory, just in case. And there we go. Okay, much better. Now, we've got a more powerful gun. Not that we're going to be using it. Probably, well, because I have a preference for handguns in this game. There's a lot of reasons why mechanically, but yeah, I just have my preferences, and that's pretty much why we're doing things the way we're doing them now. Okay, so with that said, here's some blurry red and black or brown blob over here, so let's see what's going on with that. Who is this kid? Did we surprise the kid? That's the one downside of PS1 era graphics. I don't know, I can't tell if that kid even has an expression, much less what that expression is. Just a blank stare into the void. Yeah. Oh, so this is Daniel's kid that they were talking about in the car, or in the police car ride back home at the end of the previous video, previous episode, whatever. So that's Ben, huh? Okay. Got something for the day. Concert? Huh. Okay. And off he runs. Because he's a kid. Kids are prone to fits of emotional outrage. Or, maybe not emotional outrage, emotional outbursts, that's what I wanted to say. When things don't go their way, because they're kids, and kids are strange, obnoxious little beasts. Wait, I thought... Wasn't he asking where his wife and son were in the car? Oh. Okay. So, that sounds like a fun domestic situation, or is it just me? Okay, well, now that we've gotten a better weapon, I suppose we should go check in with the chief here. See what's next up on the duty roster. Yeah, I said duty. I can't believe I just said that. All right, well. Oh. Oh. So why didn't they just have the cutscene of her? Well, then again, with how slow she walks in cutscenes, I suppose I can't blame them for not wanting to play a cutscene of her walking all this way over here. No. Press conference, okay. I guess it makes sense. A giant media event like that, people want answers. Well, no pressure there. Basically, control the interview, keep things from getting out of hand. Okay. Seems like a good idea. Something, people start hearing about what really happened. I suppose that could get ugly. A lot of panic and all that fun stuff. Then why am I even there? Okay, if I'm not supposed to talk, he's doing all the talking. I mean, I guess Aya could just be there to stand there and look pretty, which I imagine she's very good at, but I suppose actually Eve could be considered a terrorist. She seems to be trying to inspire terror in people, and she's pretty good at it, if you ask me. Okay, how are you gonna respond to this? Of course. What was it? Uh, the English dub of the fourth season of Digimon, the last episode. One of those kind of making fun of because the news reports when these giant, epic battles happen and that lead to disasters, and they just like report the most asinine. According to the government, this is why kind of explanation. I cannot remember the specific example. I've got to think on that for a moment because I just remember watching it like they really did that. Oh, um, well, what you gonna do, boss? They got you cornered on that one. Good non-answer. And the reporters are having none of it. It's like they know politicians or something. Not like the news talks about that all the time. Well, I think the press conference is officially over, and it's about, or at the very least, about to start going downhill before it gets ended very abruptly. Yeah, Baker, she just did that. She just stopped listening to you. Ha! Oh, in a metaphorical sense, actually, considering what actually is going on with Eve and all that stuff, I suppose in a physical sense, maybe she's dead too, but in a metaphorical sense, definitely, Melissa's pretty dead. And that could explain a lot of things if she was an alien. Woo! We got to ruin a press conference. I've always wanted to do that. I am also a very strange person, though, so, the things that I want are kind of strange and horrifying at times. He did admittedly say that. It's not about telling the truth. They can't handle the truth. I've never actually seen that movie. Actually, I don't even know what movie that's from off the top of my head. Seems like there should have been a nice thud to go with that hand smacking down. Admittedly, it is a pretty hard to believe story. Panicking is bad. Okay. Okay, what was that about? Oh, okay, just some Japanese scientist that kind of out of the blue. Yeah, whatever. something. Mitochondria? That could be relevant. Yeah, that. I totally knew that's what it did. Is that what mitochondria does? It seems like that makes sense. I don't know. Actually, I don't know what makes sense, really. I know nothing about cellular biology. I don't know. The mitochondria to be set free! So what, subcellular organisms are going to be escaping or something? What? Okay. It seems like he might be a good person to talk to. Yeah, I agree with Daniel. It sounds like a good plan. Okay, well, at least we have a lead that will hopefully start explaining some things. But, you know what, for the moment, we've been at this for about 20 minutes, a little over. I think it's probably a good time to end this end this episode. So, I suppose maybe not the most interesting episode, but tune in next time where we will apparently go talk to a researcher about mitochondria. That sounds fun, I guess. I don't know. Until then, as always, later, folks.